The Sound of Money with Santosh Sirur.
Hello and welcome to another very special episode of my podcast, The Sound of Money. The reason why it's special, it has two reasons. One is my guest on this podcast, Mr. Balasubramanian. He's the MD and the CEO of Birla Sunlife Mutual Fund, the AMC. And the very second reason is this is a very special episode for me as a personal basis, because this is my 75th episode of my podcast. And no better than having an amazing guest joining me from Mumbai, Bala, as we all know him. Hi, Bala sir, Sairam, and welcome to this podcast.
I'm Sairam Santosh, and I'm happy to be part of your podcast. And it was also nice meeting you a few weeks back, and where you did a briefing about your 75th podcast episode. And first of all, congratulations for continuously striving towards increase the number of podcasts.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, we're not going to talk about mutual funds, as I told you, on this very special episode. I want to talk to you a lot of other things that you've been, known for, be it your social work, be it your philanthropy work, as I know. But first, let's talk about your career. I believe your schooling has been in your village, your native place, and maybe you could walk us through, because what I know is you've been with Birla Sunlife Mutual Fund AMC ever since 1994. I guess 2006 is when you became the CIO for 3 years till 2009, and then an amazing stint as a CEO for almost 30 years. You know, today's youth, it's very difficult for them to believe that one can survive in the same organization more than 5 years. So they change, and you're an absolute epitome for a lot of people, sir, where career, success go all along and together in one organization. Tell us about the secret about it. Maybe start off with your education, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Sir, for this question. So anyway, brought up in a village. So having born in the village in Tanjore district, a place called Milattur. So we didn't have choice but to study in the Tamil medium school and government school. So my entire elementary education at the village, and then graduations, of course, you have to go out. It's a +2. Then you have to go out of the village to study. And that's where I migrated from Tamil medium school to the English medium school. Up to 10th standard, I was in Tamil medium school. And then 11th onwards, I became English medium.
Okay.
And those transitions those days were possible because even in the Tamil medium school, English teaching was also equally strong as you learn in own language. So that's the way the initial career beginning, and pursued my graduation as well in the nearby college in Tanjore district. In those days, there were only one or two colleges used to be there. Again, there will be a lot of competition, including graduations. There used to be a waiting list kind of things. Nowadays, of course, many colleges have come, therefore you get admission.
Yeah.
So my ambition that time was to be an engineer, but chose BSc Mathematics as a curriculum.
Okay.
But one good thing was even in the BSc Mathematics, they used to have one section for accounts and finance.
Yeah.
So that is the only time where the Tamil Nadu curriculum was changing, where they were mixing maths and accounts.
Okay.
So I was fortunate to be part of that batch. So I could get some sense on account and finance.
Very good.
And get that knowledge as well, along with science as the background. So while I had dreamed to become a software engineer, when I came to Mumbai for a job, then I thought I'll pursue my higher education as we moved to Mumbai.
Okay.
The initial my focus was on getting myself more equipped on as a program writer.
Okay.
So I was initially doing some course on program writing so that I can become a software engineer.
Okay.
And fate was something different. So I'm doing a diploma in financial management at Bombay University. Got a job in financial service industry.
Okay.
Then I, along the side, after I got into a job close to your stock exchange tower, which is the Bombay Stock Exchange Tower. Then you get the feel, right? When you're close to the stock exchange tower, you get the feel of the market, you get a feel of economy, you get a feel of the trend.
Yeah.
And
Sir, what year would this be? Roughly around which year would this be?
That was in the year 90.
90s. Okay.
Between 88 and 90. Because I spent some time as a what do you call as a launch pad with my brother-in-law. He used to run an engineering firm. That's why I think software all goes together.
Okay.
So and as I started there, since being close to the market, we had friendship who is in the market. Then suddenly you realize you can actually change your career from software to stock market.
Yeah.
So, so that is the way I transition. Then my ambition was more moved towards financial service industry.
Okay.
And that's the time I joined Canbank Financial Services.
Okay.
And then I joined GIC Mutual Fund. And then I joined Birla after spending two years in Canfina, 2 years in GIC Mutual Fund.
Okay.
Then I joined Birla when Birla was setting it up. One of the old private sector mutual fund in the country.
Okay.
It's under Aditya Birla Group name. And that's the time I took a shift from public sector to the private sector.
Okay.
And the advantage that I used to have, of course, you compete with the market who are extremely highly qualified. When I used to look around as a counterpart, when I used to be bond market trader, all of them are IMAs, IMBs types.
Yeah.
And advantage is that while I'm not in the same category of IMA types, at least you get to meet them, get to see them.
Yeah.
So my learning curve from all of them, I call it rub-off effect. You may not be IM, but you can always get IM rub-off effect if you work with IM guys.
That's a nice one. Yeah.
I was fortunate to be in that crowd, not having any kind of feeling that I am not qualified enough to do things. At the same time, believe in your own capability, believe in your own understanding.
Yeah.
Therefore, you can deliver. That used to be one of my self-motivation that I used to have.
Okay.
So all those things helped. And then as I started progressing, then simultaneously improve your academic background by way of doing MBA. And then I had an ambition to have alumni of IMB.
Okay.
Then I was the first batch AMP student of IMB when they started.
Wonderful. Okay.
So I was the first batch actually. And then I said, no, I must pursue this, because being alumni of IMB either through MBA or through AMP. Yeah. The AMP is also equally gives the same opportunity, which otherwise you don't get to spend 2 years' time. Here you get to spend only a time.
Yeah.
But otherwise curriculums are more or less the same as MBA. Therefore, I felt that I can at least do this AMP in IMB and become an alumni, as well as learn know-how of financial industry more than what I was doing, so that you can help in building your career for the future. Yeah. So nothing was planned as such, but it was more of going simultaneously. So I think the good thing for me was I was part of the small team. In the sense, wherever I worked, it was a small 3-4 member team, never had a large workforce. And then you end up doing multiple things, long working hours, and then do multiple things. You'll do operation activities, you'll do dealing activities, you'll do investment activities. You'll also do a runner boy. You'll also do chai giver. Sometimes some guest comes, you bring in chai types. And there is no absolute ego in those days. And we had to do a lot of stuff. So that gave me a great learning curve. And when I was GIC Mutual Fund, I used to shuffle between equity and debt. Okay. Debt was the long hours of working. Morning 8:30 starts, evening at 5 o'clock will end. Whereas equity used to start only at 12 to 2. Yeah. So therefore, I need to prepare first for the bond market trading. Then second, I need to prepare for the equity market trading. Then I come back to the bond market settlement. Okay. So that used to be the chain of event for the day. And the workload was so much. You take as much workload as much as possible, so that you never know actually when the day will end. I can imagine. Yeah. So that used to be my period of learning curve. And there used to be a period where I used to even be the office open boy. Oh, and unless I don't come, office will not get open. Okay. So because these were the days where we used to work on thin stuff. Slog a lot. Yeah. So that is where it came. And whatever the subsequent journey which I got in Birla, as well as the mutual fund. Yeah. And thanks to my bosses who are quite accommodative of me, they were quite understanding. And the bosses used to also give me a lot of loads of work. so that you learn doing more work.
Yeah,
at the same
finishing
time,
school was fantastic.
you also
and offices. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the
So,
way the entire career progress.
yeah.
Yeah.
So are you, I think also lucky, right? That when mutual fund markets just start out at its nascent stage, you happen to be at the right person at the right time. Is that what helped you also from a mutual fund standpoint? Kind of.
Yeah. For example, I'll just give you interesting stuff. When I moved from joint fund to JSC mutual fund, I had to write exams. The public
Okay.
exam kind of thing for recruitment. They had given advertisement I wrote, and they were recruiting for Janta. They were not recruiting for investment professional.
Okay.
They were recruiting for a general role that they are recruiting. Then they decided who will go with department.
Oh,
That
okay.
was my lucky time. So though I was taken for general role,
Okay.
when they were allocating responsibilities within the JS Mutual Fund, then I was allotted dealing room responsible person. So that's something is I can say, a turning point,
Okay.
which would not have come, but for somebody who had taken a bet, right? Mr. S.K. Mitra took a bet on me. And that's the way he took a bet on me is he used to see me in the office at 8:30.
Yeah.
He used to see me in the evening at 9 o'clock when he leaves. And anything that he used to ask me, I used to give an answer, which is more relevant, appropriate,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Then he felt, okay, Bala's capability is there, therefore we can make him good. Make him do that dealing room activity because dealing room is very sensitive.
Yeah.
You have to maintain a very high level of ethics, standards. When you deal with in those days stockbrokers are with a very rich background of trading in the market, right? I think all of them are well established, well entrenched people with whom to deal with. You need to maintain a very high level of ethics as well.
Yeah.
At the same time, you need to be equally have the confidence to converse with them.
Yeah.
So that used to be the time. So that was the turning around time for me. Second is the turning point for me. Second is I think being in the right place, right time, and of course, as it happens for everyone, definitely it did happen for me as well. Also, when I joined Birla, I got married then. I got married then I joined.
Okay.
After I got the appointment letter. So that also plays a role, right?
Yeah.
I think you're better off also play a role in terms of your bringing the necessary look.
Absolutely.
I always say after my daughter was born, I bought my first Maruti 800 car.
Wonderful.
And likewise, each of the sequences
had a milestone.
also do matter in everyone's life.
Agreed.
In my case, God has been kind, and so each of the moving parts, I would say, were blessed by in multiple forms by external forces.
Okay, that's really amazing to know. So you've been having a very long stint with Birla Sunlife as a mutual fund CEO. You joined them from 1994 and now 2020, 30 years. How has been that journey, the transition? And I'm sure it's a leadership that makes a huge difference. Your experience, you leading the pack, right? It's very important. How has been this journey with the Birla Sunlife Mutual Fund as a whole, as you see it?
Very interesting. The advantage of being part of the Birla Group is they trust you.
Yeah.
And once they give the responsibilities, it is the individual to take up the full responsibility in their hand and deliver to the core the best interest of the organizations because the trust has been given to you.
Yeah.
So that is something. Plus, they also spend money on development of people and so on and so forth. Therefore, I remember when I joined here in Aditya Birla Sunlife Mutual Fund, they even asked us to go for English speaking classes, public speaking classes. Sorry, not English speaking classes, public speaking classes. So those kind of they used to spend money. They used to spot where people should improve and so on and so forth. So likewise, each stages we got very high support from HR functions driven by Aditya Birla Group. So I am fortunate to get that the recognition from Aditya Birla Group and support. Even at the early age of my career, I had attended leadership program in the 2000, which were conducted by a professor from Singapore, which Aditya Birla Group had to bring them to India to train their employees. I was fortunate to be part of those training as well.
Okay.
So that is as far as the self-concern, development concerns, where the group has made a lot of investments on us. Second, on an individual basis, the responsibility is given. It is up to you to take the responsibility in your hand.
Yeah.
And then keep doing more things and ensure you are able to deliver what has been assigned to you quite successfully on each day basis. Each day is a new day. since we are in the money management business, we have to track so many things and be on top of the job, and yet deliver an outcome which has been set aside for you. And second is, see, we as a 30-year industry, one thing that we have seen is ups and downs.
Yeah, true.
Challenges we have seen. We have seen very, very dark days.
Yeah.
We have seen the world is coming to an end multiple number of times. We
Yeah.
have seen stock market crashing for a variety of reasons. As I speak today, market has crashed by about
True.
1.5%. This
Yeah.
is nothing actually in front of
What
what
you've
was in
seen
the
earlier.
past. What is in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
And there will be external forces will come heavily on you. Because when industry is small, you'll have external forces also coming heavily on you.
Yeah.
So, and we used to track RBI monetary policy and so on and so forth. Suddenly will come and actually hit you on multiple ways. Therefore, during those kind of challenging period, how you remain cool and calm and yet manage the situation in a manner, they come out of crisis.
Yeah.
And not that you are in a crisis, but you are in a crisis situation, but you don't get caught in the crisis situation and still remain strong.
Yeah.
So this is something I've seen it in my Aditya Birla Sunlife mutual fund 30 years of career, whether it is for business, whether it is for handling investment side challenges, whether it is handling regulatory challenges, whether it is handling the people challenges. So suddenly people will leave. Whether people leaving is bad on one side, no doubt. At the same time, can you ensure that people leaving doesn't affect the organization power? So that's where I think me as an individual, I got many such opportunities for me to represent the organizations multiple number of times during such kind of events, such kind of incidences. That also gave me edge compared to others. And then you become dependable. So you become dependable, you become indispensable. Of course, I would never call myself indispensable, but I always used to keep myself as a dependable. So because organization giving you that power, therefore you become dependable for that. So that is the way I used to build. Therefore, in my entire growth, when I was given responsibility as CIO, in fact, I even went after spending almost 9 years in the investment function. Even I was asked to head the sales for 9 months.
Okay.
It was not meant for 9 months; it was meant permanent actually. But something was there that time. After 9 months, they couldn't find a CIO to head the investment function.
Okay.
Then they only felt that when we have Bala in the same team, why not we get him back?
Yeah.
So I came back as a CIO. In fact, 2006, 7, 8, and 9 were the best period in terms of winning multiple awards and multiple recognition from the external world for investment performance.
Yeah.
But that's something we have to put the extra effort to ensure that your effort leads to an outcome.
True.
Not the outcome is set, therefore you put an effort.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I never put outcome as the first goal and then basically you put the effort. You keep putting the effort, then it will lead to a better result. In fact, 2006, 7, 8, I had even started recruiting fresh chartered content, fresh MBAs. So I felt better to have a young team and then make them flourish and use your experience to train them to get the job done so that you can actually deliver better performance. So these are some of the bets I used to take. And in fact, they paid off. When 2009, when I became the CEO, in fact, that was also a very tough time. You may have to remember the crisis.
Yeah, the 2008
I took over as the CEO in the 1st of August 2009.
Yeah.
It was a tough time. Many people told me, Bala, why do you want to move from CIO to CEO? You'll be better off as a CIO. It is not, I can't decide my future. It's the organization will decide my future.
Correct.
If my boss has decided that I would take this role, I am sure he's also thinking in the best interest of organization as well as individuals.
True.
So that is the way it is. One good thing that they have done for me, I never looked at it is Aditya Birla Sunlife AMC performance important. I always looked at industry growth.
Yeah.
That's something has always been right from 99, 98, when we started the Birla Income Plus.
Yeah.
Getting involved, fixing the valuations for bond market. And there was no policy, there was no methodology. All of us used to work together as an industry player.
Yeah.
Like I used to closely work with the Franklin Templeton. And even some of my industry friends like Nilesh, Navaneet.
Yeah.
They're all friends. We used to work together to make a policy for the industry.
Okay.
So that has always come as part of the culture right from the beginning.
Okay, interesting. Sir, apart from your professional career, you have been widely associated and quite deeply associated with a lot of philanthropic work. For example, Satya Sai Sanjeevani Center, or even Satya Sai University, Gulbarga. Can you tell us a little more about that? How do you get the time to, devote your amazing time to, such amazing work that you've been doing,
Yeah.
in terms of philanthropy?
So, of course, I am a very small part of this association because this association is very large, and the kind of work that is being done by both Satya Sai Sanjeevani hospitals in saving children from the heart-related issues, as well as education they provide under the guidance of Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai. So, of course, I got involved because I was also part of Satya Sai annual event post Lehman crisis at Puttaparthi, where all the industry leaders had gone and had the opportunity of taking the blessing of Bhagavan Satya Sai Baba at that time, along with other luminaries of the industry like Aditya Birla, K.V. Kamath, Uday Kotak, all such the leading financial service players were all present in that ashram, discussing about financial market.
Wow!
So that got me deeply involved in some of the activities. Second is, I never felt I'm doing something extra, or never felt I'm actually spending my time extra towards these activities. I always felt everything goes simultaneously. So now, as I talk to you, if you have to send a message to somebody asking for donations, I'll not hesitate. If you have to send a message to somebody promoting Satya Sanjeevani, some of the activities they're doing, it takes a few minutes for me to just connect.
Wonderful.
Therefore, I never felt I'm taking extra effort to work with these kind of organizations. I felt work and work-life balance go together. And there is no, I don't differentiate between work and life and work. And both hand in hand, except I only ensure 80-85% of the time is spent towards work. But 10 to 15% of the work is spent both personal and social activities.
Of course. Yeah.
So that is the way I put it. And because I work generally long hours of working, for me, the day starts at 6 in the morning and ends at 12 in the night.
Okay.
So therefore, I do have enough time where I can spend time on this thing as well.
Okay.
So definitely it gives me, I also benefit, right? It's like going and teaching in a college. I always used to think that you are doing a favor to students or institutions. It is never actually. It is always you benefit because you are teaching somebody. You benefit. Your knowledge goes up. You go well prepared.
True.
The same way when I participate in some of the Satya Sanjeevani activities, both at the Bangalore, even at the hospital that they have across the country, I learn from the peer group that are coming in. The devotees who who are more established people than myself. And they're all business owners. They have established multiple businesses, living abroad, living in far off the countries. When I see them actually coming and do a public service in India, despite being a foreigner, then I wonder what we are doing then. I think we are doing nothing actually in front of them. Therefore, we should not think that we are doing enough. At least whatever little we are doing, that much opportunity comes. I always also believe that giving versus taking, and you may want to give for donation, but people will not take it.
Agree.
Where even for giving and taking, also you must have be lucky because your money goes somewhere. Somebody should accept the money for good work.
Yeah.
If they don't accept it, then it's of no use. Why I'm specifically saying this is I did come across a person who are willing to donate a large amount of money for this trust, which I'm going representing, and then the chief of the trust did not take it. Then they said, no, not time, right? It's not right time. It's not right time.
Okay.
Then I used to wonder, money is coming to you, but you're not taking it. That means the money is not destined to go there.
Correct.
Yeah. So sometimes these are the things which gives me a better maturity, better way of thinking. Therefore, don't think actually that you are doing it, but somebody is making you do. And therefore, keep that humbleness in the overall activities. Therefore, the involvement for me is actually, I do like more like a part of my regular work life balance only.
Wonderful. So now let's talk a little bit about Bharat, India. The kind of India that we see today, from what probably in the last 10 plus years now. What is that? Your vision of Bharat, the Vikasit Bharat that we talk of. You've seen the mutual fund industry, you've seen the development, and that too, you've seen this from 1996 over a span, or even more than that, right? When you started your career, it's on a different trajectory. What is your vision of Bharat and the orbit that Bharat or India is in? Maybe if you could share your views.
Yeah. I think I have seen, coming from the rural background, I have seen the significant inequality ratios between the city and towns and panchayat to the villages.
Yeah.
I think Bharat is not represented only like Mumbai, Delhi.
Yeah.
Bharat is actually the wider representation coming from different industries.
Correct.
And agriculture being one of the large industry also need to be taken care when it comes to the question of developing Bharat. So the Viksit Bharat is actually making India self-sufficient in every manner. Whether it is manufacturing for yourself, whether it is producing agriculture crop for yourself and yet become exporter in the country. Therefore, you give a lot of importance to it. And also become a role model in adapting the change in technology, including telecom industry. I've seen telecom industries evolving all these years. I'm one person who has made trunk calls and put what you call send urgent letter to the telegram.
Telegram, yeah.
And telegram kind of things. Even my own appointment letter came in telegram when I was in the village.
Okay.
So I've seen this entire thing.
Yeah.
I've seen from telex machine by way of for interacting with people. Now today you have WhatsApp kind of things.
Yeah.
So this evolution adaptation that has happened in the country is quite widespread. And as India is becoming younger, definitely the knowledge level for them is far superior. I think today we cannot underestimate any kids, whether it is living in Mumbai, whether it is living in urban, rural India. I think the knowledge levels are more or less equal, except their talking style will be different, but otherwise knowledge levels are good. Yeah. The vigor for them to learn and become an entrepreneur is high. Therefore, there is an element of growing animal spirit to become an entrepreneur in the country.
Yeah.
So that make it more individually self-driven. And therefore, as a result of that, today the wealth effect is getting widely spread. This is what, in my own belief, is taking Bharat to the rural. I call it the route to rural. I think it's something which is happening. Today, you don't need to develop separate cities to migrate from rural India to urban India, because rural India itself is now becoming like an urban India from a facilities point of view. Yeah. Therefore, this is what my own belief is, making it self-sufficient in every manner, whether it is on energy, whether it is on employment, whether it is on agriculture output being self-sufficient, create enough opportunities for people to create their own jobs. And the way digital India has progressed, banking systems, I still remember the first banking system revolution that happened in the country is by introducing core banking solution. The core banking solution, the first step towards making computerized activities in the banking systems way back in 1994-95. Then came RTGS and so on and so forth. What you have seen and what you are seeing today, there is a significant change. In the last 5 years, I think we have progressed faster than what we would have done in the last 20 years. I think that's something I see. This, in my own belief, will make, as time comes, as we move forward, the growth rate for India will be faster than the last 5 years we have seen. So I always believe that as the time progresses, that the time taken for execution will get reduced.
True.
And I think that is where, in my own belief, is the Viksit Bharat, the 2047. And most of the things that being now pursued, whether it is Make in India, Digital India, or rural upliftment and creating skill development in India, all of them actually will stand out significantly compared to the global economy. And therefore, making the dream of our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, the vision of 2047 will even come before 2047. Given the fact that we have a lot of moving parts are in that direction.
True.
And I'll just give you one area where we have made a significant progress, just about energy. Since I mentioned about I lived in village, we used to get power 4 hours a day. And at night never used to be a power. Morning power, afternoon power used to come. Morning power used to come. Afternoon power will not be there. When the power is there night, there only one phase will work, 2 phase will work, 1 phase will not work. Therefore, your light, the brightness will be less, and so on and so forth. So we used to even live on kerosene lights types. And today, every rural parts of India is well connected, well lit, well connected to the energy. And today, the consumption pattern of using energy for multiple purposes in the village has gone up. This, in my own view, is very big progress. I think India, from a highly shortfall, country in energy.
Yeah.
I still remember industries used to suffer. Even
True.
the people like in Tirupur, people used to suffer. But 12 hours power shut down. 8 hours they have to work, and rest of the hours you sleep. You don't have any power.
Yeah.
Production used to get impacted big time. Factories used to get impacted. There used to be a system of, because of lack of power, there used to be a shift system in the country.
Yeah.
So today we have progressed so well. Probably the next few years we not only become self-sufficient on power, even we'll get enough opportunity for use the power for many other purposes, including exports.
True.
I think that's where we are progressing. This progress, believe me, is something difficult to explain beyond the point. You have to feel it. I think I see today the feel is so high. This will actually move up the rank of India big time the next few years, come faster.
Agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have seen Birla Sunlife supporting a series, the Bharat series. I've been seeing the Pandharpur, the Miras. What's the kind of idea behind this? Because this really brings out the real India on the ground, right? When you watch the series, maybe if you could share a few views about this.
Yeah, I think the idea which came from two angles. One, this is our 30th year of operation. In the 30th year, if you want to create something unique, what is that we can do different? And then we felt that connecting rural to India and then showcasing how Bharat is progressing could be one thing that we can take.
Yeah.
Then if we do only in Tamil Nadu and South, then what about other segment of India, other parts of India? Then we decided we'll take one South, one West, one North, and one Northeast.
Yeah.
And one East types. We said like Jammu and Kashmir types.
Yeah.
We said let us take about 5 parts of the country.
Yeah.
And then go and do a real check. What is happening in the digital economy? What is happening in the culture?
True.
What is happening in the people jobs, education? And then how the Make in India theme is actually taking to the rural India.
Yeah.
The in and around the rural India, there are semi-urban cities are there.
Yeah.
So what are they doing from a business point of view? From a trades point of view, commerce point of view?
Yeah.
So you want to bring those lights into the main forum. That's why we call it 5, 6 series we do. In that, we also built in spiritual tourism. Say, whatever said and done, Indians, irrespective of whatever the caste and greed, spirituality in India is prevalent across the board.
Yeah.
But India is also giving a huge opportunity for spiritual tourism increase. And today, one of the big tourism that picked up in India is spiritual tourism. That's why we went to Pandharpur.
Yeah.
We chose Pandharpur as a location in Maharashtra when we did. And Maharashtra also is very big state for industrial contribution. It used to be a big contributor to the industrial activities in India, right? They were the driver. Today, many states have come.
Yeah.
We want to bring those insight into the social media platform by way of traveling to those markets, talking to the local people, talking to the people who are running the business in those markets, surveying the same business and providing employment, how the education is picking up, how the people live there with the culture maintaining the culture, traditional culture, and they still remain happy. What is the happy question that exists in this market? So we want to bring out all those things. Therefore, we put a theme called One Bharat series. Second is route to rural. So go back to the route and see how things are progressing. That's what connects to the Bharat.
Wonderful.
So ultimately, as I mentioned, 80% of the population still lives in rural India.
Yes.
Depending on agriculture income, which also will become one of the large industry as time progresses. As we have seen in the US. US is a very large industry on agriculture side. Maybe the well-to-do people, if you ask them what do you do, they will say I'm an agriculturist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas in India, we don't say we are an agriculturist. We think agriculturist means it's small. I mean, you're also big, right?
Yeah,
it's a big industry.
Major
I think you are producing food for people to eat.
True.
So you are producing food for people's survival.
Agree.
Therefore, we should feel proud about agri-economy. Therefore, we want to take it to the rural economy. Absolutely. And wherever we go, when we went to Tamil Nadu, we covered how the paddy crop is actually benefiting them and what other crops actually they are doing it, how the whole ecosystem works, all the government of India schemes are benefiting them. And when we went to Pandharpur, entire Maharashtra, we not only covered industrial activities, how they are performing, and also how taxation changes actually helping them. Then we also went to Pandharpur temple when we went. We saw in and around places how the wealth has been created.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of land prices going up.
Yeah.
Not only, of course, the God is coming and giving darshan to everyone.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's also created happiness for the people who have been living there for many number of decades.
Absolutely.
So that, like that, we saw some of the insight.
Yeah.
We also saw insight about how sugar industry, which has gone through various price control from the government because sugar is something inflationary. But how they're also ensuring you keep the price of sugar under control,
Yeah.
and yet you allow them to make money on sugar crop production
Yeah.
by way of making part of it, by way of making part of the petrol by ethanol mixed with the petrol.
Yeah.
This all change in industry, right?
Yes.
So if you want to bring those up in the highly,
Yeah.
and that's the way we are progressing in the rest of the market as well.
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
insightful and great series to watch. Actually, I must recommend our listeners, our audiences, that this is one series you should watch. It's called the Bharat series. In fact, they've covered quite a few amazing locations which you and me would not have thought of. So one or two last questions before we leave, Bala sir. What's a day or a weekend maybe in the life of Bala sir? I know you did tell me you were the first one to reach office and probably the last one to reach office. But how do you attain that work-life balance? And other than work, what's life for you? How do you spend time? Any hobbies that you pursue?
I don't have too many other habits except nowadays I don't even watch movies or serials. And now it's become less.
Okay.
Okay, I have off late. Of course, I do chant on a weekends since I've learned a little bit of basic Vedas chanting. So I do chant on Saturdays, Sundays if I'm free at home.
Okay.
And sometimes I do chant Vishnu Sahasranam on a Saturday evening. If I'm at home again,
Yeah.
if I leave from office, go home early,
Yeah.
I do that. Now I started actually learning music. Since I used to learn in the childhood days, I thought let me just come back to the music. It can be a stress reliever for you whenever you want.
True. Carnatic music?
Carnatic music, yeah.
Wonderful.
Online Carnatic music that I'm learning. I also picked up golf as one of the sports. I'm not a good sportsman, but I used to, of course, play badminton. But in Bombay, you can't think about any sports.
Yeah, I know.
And then luckily, I had an opportunity to get a membership in a golf club. And now I've picked up some interest for golf playing because the reason I took it, it has a multiple benefit. One, you play for yourself, play against yourself.
Yeah.
And second, it also gives you a passions as to how do we stay on course without getting upset. And it's also more like a meditation.
Mental patience, it really builds your
mental patience. And also more like a meditation for me. That's the way I understood this game. So I don't play a bet in this. I just play for your own satisfaction.
Recreation. Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
So last question, 2018, you won the CEO of the Year, which is the Asia Asset Manager Award. And in later, you won the Outstanding Leader by the Aditya Birla Group, which was the Leader of the Leader Award way back. What do these awards mean to you?
So the recognition is always good. That too receiving from my own super boss, Mr. Kumar Birla.
Yeah.
And being part of the large group where they employ 7 lakh people. There are more than 500 leadership team. CEOs are there in our group. And when such recognition comes from Mr. Birla himself as part of his pick, it's something definitely for me is more like an Oscar award.
True.
And it definitely motivates. And at the same time, I always believe any such recognition award, it's always increase the responsibility and accountability for you to drive more for the success. That's why I see it. Award means it doesn't mean that it arrived in life. Award means the beginning of the new life actually in terms of doing more. So one good thing is, in fact, one of my dream I used to always have should be in a position to do one course in Harvard. And I used to tell my kids, whenever I get an opportunity on my own money, I'll go to Harvard and come.
Yeah.
That's only one dream I used to always have in my life on my education side.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Outstanding Leadership Award, when our chairman gave, it did have the package included in that.
Oh, wonderful.
To do a course in Harvard or any institutions abroad at the cost of company's money.
Yeah.
At the company's cost, sorry. At the company's cost.
Yeah.
So I took the opportunity to do my Harvard AMP as well.
Amazing.
So that's the additional outcome it comes. And sometimes organization recognition also helps you fulfill your dreams, which otherwise you're not told to anybody.
Yeah.
But it happens on its own, which is what I feel that it's a God's blessing is always there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. On that very, very positive note, God's blessings note, thank you so much, sir, for being a guest on my...
One more thing I also want to just mention.
Yeah.
Whenever we also used to argue at home also that between the God versus boss. So I always tell boss also is my God because he's the one giving my salary.
Agree.
Therefore, I should always be loyal to him because he's my Boba giver.
Absolutely.
So I used to tell my wife, Mr. Birla is my God.
God.
Because he's a giver of my food
Bread
and
and
money,
butter, right?
which
Correct.
my bank balance going up because I'm working there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bala sir, for being on this very, very special guest on my 75th episode of my podcast. So good to have you on this podcast.
Thanks, Santosh. Nice talking to you, and glad we could have some detailed discussion today. Thank you.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
well, with that, we come to the end of this episode, this very, very special 75th episode of the Sound of Money podcast. It's been a long 4.5-year-old journey. Do continue to be with my podcast, subscribe, share, and of course, be always around on the Sound of Money. But for now, from me, Santosh Sirur, the host, and my guest this evening, Mr. A. Balasubramanian, MD and the CEO of Birla Sunlife AMC. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. Bye-bye and take care.